Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be tapping in and talking about spiritual dolls, baby. Okay, so let's get into it because this is one of my favorite things that I've been into lately, and I gotta give a shout out to my ex-best friend because she is the one who gave me this doll, and this was her childhood doll. Okay, so Buddy has been with me for a few years now, and he's looking at me so cute. Y'all have seen him on a few videos. I embodied him with Shango a while back, and then I re-blessed him when I shifted into a different spiritual system. And so now, can I tell them? Okay, he said it's fine. So now I have embodied him with Papa Gede or Baron Samadi. So we do our things. Okay, let's talk about spiritual dolls. Now I have quite a few spiritual dolls. I enjoy the process of embodying a doll with a spirit or a soul. Okay, and so one of the biggest things you need to understand about a spiritual doll is you can dedicate a doll to a deity or a loa, a spirit, a primordial spirit, a god, a goddess, an angel, etc. Or you can embody it for a specific purpose. Okay, now initially when I made Malachi, that's what I named him. He is my buddy doll, and previously his name was Buddy, but I named him Malachi, and what Malachi was for was to protect my home, right? So I embodied everything that I had spelled into my home. He was my monitor. Now he has a different purpose now, so so I could tell you about what I got going on. But so if you want to create your own spiritual doll, I am going to be talking about the benefits of creating one, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about how I create my own spiritual dolls. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing is you want to find a doll that has been previously loved. Okay, now you can buy a fresh doll. Most fresh dolls are used when people either want to make a doll look a specific way, they want to get into doll making as a part of their practice, or because they are in an initiated system where they use fresh dolls in order to embody, let's say for example, an Orisha, sometimes a Loa, depending on what you practice. Or you could also do it to embody a self. So for example, there are some people who create their own, I call them voodoo dolls, but they're not really just like a voodoo doll. They're just like cloth dolls, right? And they make their own cloth doll and then they embody it with something. There's a name for this, but it is escaping me at the moment. But I do have one of those as well. So this doll is a My Buddy doll. They came out in the 1980s, and I believe the first doll was like 1979 or 1980, and then they became very, very popular with their counterpart, My Kid Sister. I want a My Kid Sister so bad. These dolls are kind of expensive, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie, because I recently just bought another one, and I believe it was like $100. Okay, now this Buddy doll, I have made him a new outfit. Now his body is the outfit he came with originally, but there are My Buddy dolls that come with the cloth body where the body kind of has this texture, and I do have one of those. Now I crocheted him as a part of my ritual, a onesie outfit. Okay, and he has a little hat. Isn't that cute? That was my first time making a hat, y'all. Like they actually fit the way that I wanted it to. Okay, so I cleanse Buddy on a regular basis, and Buddy is he has this outfit that I crocheted specifically for him. And when I did this was an offering to the Loan that was moving into this doll. Okay, so for those of you who y'all adults and y'all like to play and stuff like that, I encourage you to spell your dolls, okay? Because lifing. And this doll was so scary because this is the doll that Chucky is based off of. It scares a lot of people that walk into my house, which I like because don't fuck around with me. But my daughter did not want to play with this doll at first, and when I switched out the spirit and I switched his outfit, like now she likes to talk to him and play with him, and like they be playing peekaboo and all types of shit. And one of the biggest things that I will say is like having a doll. So here are some of the benefits. I know we're on minute 6 now, but like y'all, I'm rambling. Okay, some of the benefits of having a doll is that you can put your intention into a doll. I feel like Spirit's trying to get me to remember the name. It's not a gnome, a toem, a golem. There we go. So you can use your doll to create a golem. Now, a golem is a fragmentalized part of your spirit that you give its own identity and consciousness to in order to complete a given task. Those golems are then fed ritually with spiritual energy or otherwise, depending on what you're using that golem for. And then that golem goes out to complete a task. For example, you may have a golem that brings you clients. You may have a golem that brings you money. You may have a golem that brings you people, like resources. So like people that can help you get from point A to point B, the keys that you need to go from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you can also use them as a moving piece of your altar, which this one is a version of that for me. So like it's a dedication to a deity. So I am able to move this around the house. If I want to have a ritual outside, I don't have to move any part of my altar outside. I could just pick this up and take it with me. When I was working with Shango was specifically helping me to embody my voice, to be able to speak my truth, to be able to speak the knowledge that I needed to speak to you guys so that I could help y'all, because y'all was not being helped if I'm the one that's supposed to give you the information. I'm not willing to do it, right? So I had to go through that process. He also helped me with learning and stabilizing my healing practice and making me feel confident in my sessions, helping me to channel as well, especially when people have really dark, intense attachments and energy that needs like heavy cleansing. He was there to support me and sometimes assisted me in burning those things away. Okay, so that's definitely a vibe. Okay. There is a lot of extras here that I would say, like, when you have a doll, you have an ability to talk to it, to create an intention, to have it look out for you. Now, I do have another doll that watches. They are my watcher. And so they watch for opportunities to bring it into my home or to make it exit. Okay, hold on real quick. All right, y'all, so my wig is sliding. Okay. Like I don't really get how good I'm working on this wig thing, y'all, but if y'all want more videos, y'all just gonna have to bear with this shit, because Brody, okay, you want videos, then I need an easy way to get my hair done. Okay, so what I would say is to get you a doll that you really resonate with. I prefer getting bigger dolls, not small dolls, not Barbies, because Barbies are hollow on the inside. Using a doll that has stuffing is a lot easier. One, you can go into the back of the stuffing and you can either cut it open. Some have that, like that Velcro opening if they have something that helps them talk inside. And you can insert certain sigils, seals, sachets, anything that will participate with the doll and put it inside of it so that it's making it a more, it's doing the do. Okay, it's doing the do. Yeah, so that was that. And then the next thing I wanted to get with you guys and talk about is how to make a spiritual doll. Now, I'm going to give you the simplest way. I want you to put your little kid on right now. I'm calling forth your inner child to the top of the chat. Okay, come up in the vessel. Now, I need you to understand this. This is your baby. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy a doll, hopefully, that has been loved already by some little child for several years. Now, dolls who already have love in them are so easy to work with because they want to be loved. They have been previously loved by either several children or just one child. And they're lonely. They were the helder of the imaginary friend for years and years for a child. And now that child doesn't need them. They have probably been out in the world and Goodwill or whatever in a collector's closet, not getting any attention, but they still have that spirit in them that was cultivated and they want to be a part of something, right? My new buddy doll that I acquired, he was so happy to come to me. He was like, oh my God. He was like, I'm so happy to finally meet you. He said 6 months ago when she put me up for sale, there was a spirit that showed up and said, this one will work. It took me 6 months to find that doll to buy it. So just to understand that spirit is gonna be helping you with this process, but you want to understand that when you get a doll, that doll already needs to have a spirit in it because it makes it so much easier. You don't have to cultivate a spirit. Now, if you absolutely feel like you want to make a doll from scratch, right? And you want to do that, here are the steps. 1, you want to take hold of your doll, okay? And you want to play with that doll. Now, playing with that doll can mean anything for anybody, okay? So if you're, let's say, for example, creating a doll to attract love into your life, or let's say you work with Aphrodite because she's a love deity and you want to dedicate a doll to her. So you would find the doll that you want to use. And then what you would do is you would start to adorn the doll. You're going to adorn the doll with things that are very similar to the energy of the entity or the perceived assignment that you're going to give to the golem, right? And then you're going to love it. So you're going to sleep with it. You're going to walk with it. When you are, not doing anything, or when you're walking around the house, you're going to hold it. You're going to speak to it. You're going to give it affirmations. You're going to name it. You're going to treat it like it's your baby. Okay? Imagine you just adopted a child. You're going to speak to it like it's your baby. Oh, aren't you looking fabulous today? You are just a ball of love. I'm so grateful to have you. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to speak to it. And every morning and every night for a minimum of 7 to 9 days, a minimum of 3 days, but as long as 7 to 9 days, I like 9, you're going to meditate with the doll. And what you're going to do as you meditate with the doll is you're going to enter the doll. You're going to start to organize the mind of the doll. Okay, you're going to create a persona of yourself that is going to live within the doll. You're going to start to love on that persona of yourself. They can be child size, they can be whatever size your doll is, or whatever is necessary for the doll to be able to do its work. And you're going to love on it. Now, for some of you, since you're doing a deity or a spirit, you are then going to call the spirit into the doll with you. And you together are going to birth a replica or a miniature version of itself that is attached to you, because this is your motherfucking doll, okay? And then you're going to empower that energy and that entity into the doll. And each day that you meditate, after that first time, you're going to come into the doll. You're going to speak to that entity. You're going to, in your meditation, you're going to work with that entity. You're going to show it around. You're going to create an environment inside the doll that is hospitable for the spirit that you are asking to reside inside. So I'll give an example. So if you go back to my Astral Altar series, I believe it's how to create an altar in your astral sacred space or something like that. you're going to create the altar inside the doll. And then you're going to use the doll as a movable altar. This is a portable altar right here. You're going to move the doll around. Now, if you have a golem, it's going to be very similar, except the altar that you're going to be putting together is going to be like a space. Let's give an example. If you create a small child version of yourself that is mature, what you're going to do is fill the space with things that you would like and that make you comfortable. So you're going to create a home. You're going to put all the things that you love in it. So let's say, for example, you want the doll to attract luxury. Then you're going to fill that doll space with the life and the luxurious ideas that you want to come into that doll. And then you are going to give your assignment to that doll. And every time you come back, the doll will have things to tell you, and you can give more energy and such blah 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 to the doll. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now if you don't have to empower the doll is already blah blah blah, you're going to go into the doll and start speaking to the doll, the spirit that's already there, and tell them that they will now be taking on a new purpose, and asking them, are they willing to do this? Now, for some of you who have mediumship abilities, you can do this before you purchase a doll. If you purchase it in person, you can ask the doll, hey, I want to make you into a spiritual doll that can embody a spirit for me. Are you willing to do that? If you want to use the doll for a golem, you can ask the spirit, are you willing to do some work for me? This will allow you to understand if the doll is willing or not. And usually what you'll get is a stank nasty feeling if it don't want to go home with you. Or you'll get a loving feeling like, oh my God, yes. That is just like a crystal, baby. Crystal want to go home with you, crystal don't want to go home with you type shit. So that is basically what you will do for a spiritual doll. Now, when I get my next doll, I will show you guys the process that I use to do the doll. But here are some things that you need to know as soon as you start working with your doll. Okay, once you have spoken to the spirit within the doll, you are going to then contact the entity, or you are going to create the fractal of yourself that you are going to fuse with the soul of the doll. Okay, this fusing creates the doll's identity, like how you have an ego and then you have a soul self. Your ego is what fuses your soul to your vessel. You are going to create an ego a spiritual ego for the doll. Okay, the doll already has a spirit, it already has a soul. You're going to give it a personality. If it already has a personality, then it will work the opposite way. It'll be like you adding a higher self to the doll's personality, right? Then that higher self will be connected to the I am presence, which will be the spirit that you are working with the doll. So let's say, for example, this doll is embodied by Baron Samedi. So when Baron comes through this doll, I don't hear the voice of a child, I hear the voice of Baron. And he sounds different every time to me, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, the version of Baron that I hear is like a very Creole accent. And sometimes he could be a little nasally, but for the most part, he has like a crazy ass, deep ass voice. And I think that's just from my own imagination, because I've seen so many movies with him in it that I'm like, I don't know. I like the hey, like the Barry White voice, and so that's what I imagine him as when he comes to talk to me. But he just has a Creole accent, right? And that's how he speaks to me. And when he comes through and when I channel him, that's what I feel. That's the way that he speaks. He can come on very strong when he's talking. So when he's talking to me from this doll, that is what I get. But when I'm casually talking to this doll, I'm not talking directly to Barone all the time. Sometimes I'm talking directly to the doll, the spirit that was previously in the doll. That would be Buddy, right? And the higher self, the part of me that has created the union between them, the fractalized birthing between the deity and myself, that is the higher self that connects the soul of Buddy to the deity. And that's how I do mine. Now, I will say that if you're doing your doll for someone else, it's better to just embody the entire spirit directly into the doll without a connecting piece. If you're doing this for someone else, I prefer to have my higher self or my I am presence a part of every work that I do, so that I can understand what is and what is being within all manipulations of energy that I am currently emanating. And if there's something anywhere that I've created that no longer resonates with the frequency I'm about to move into, it allows me to get the understandings and to come back and adjust those frequencies and adjust those energies, if that makes sense. So do what you do, okay? Your practice is your practice. Don't give a fuck about what nobody else is talking about, because they do what they do, and what they do is going to be different. What somebody else do is what is going to be different for blah, blah, blah. It's going to be different what another person does to what another person does. Do you. So, for example, I have a doll for Legba, and in my Legba doll, I sit him near my prosperity altar, and I keep a lot of pennies on my prosperity altar, as well as some things for my ancestors, etc., that they identify with prosperity and abundance. In my Legba doll, I have certain types of clothes on him, and I put things in his pockets, and I put things on his vessel, and put things inside of him to, make him fused with that energy. And I dress him up like he has like a little trouser outfit, because like the idea, whenever I see Papa Legba, like he looks he looks so different to me. Like he looks like I call it like a snazzy old man because like I think of like how like some of my uncles and my grandma and my grandpas would dress. And I think about my grandpa when I think about Legba, and that's the energy that I get from him. So I dress him like that. He likes going to go get clothes. Like I will be like, okay, I'm gonna go get you some clothes today. He'd be like, yeah, get me some with the straps. So I got him some with the little trousers with the little overall side. They're not overalls, but they have that little fabric suspender, and he loves that, right? So it's specific things that you do in your practice with your spirits, okay? Now, yes, they're your spirits because you're working with them. Fuck what anybody else think. Do you, be happy being you. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck what anybody else is talking about. For real. No cap, okay? Do you, live you, and be you. I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have any questions about a doll, I know this was a long ass video and I ramble, but I don't give two hot fucks. Okay, this is the information that need to come through for you guys. If you have any questions about how to create a spirit doll, about how to create a spirit doll that is a golem, please put it down in the comments below. These are just, tips and tricks that I am just really excited to give you guys, because I have really just like embodied my entire weirdness. And like I've been doing weird shit for a long time, but this is like me letting y'all into the weird, because like sometimes I just be kind of like scared to like tell people about my shit and what I got going on, and Spirit really wants me to talk about this stuff. So we are here. So tell me all your questions, comments, whatever down below. And if you got some negativity, if you're full of fear and you scared, blah, 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 or you probably only watched the first 2 seconds of this and you got negative things to say, you go suck a dick. I'm gonna delete your comment anyway. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. I love you. Continue to thrive, to continue to build, continue to manipulate the energy that will create the desires that you want while also respecting the free will of other people. I love you. Stay high, stay vibing, stay thriving, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.